Imagine putting on a pair of glasses that you've worn every day for months. And at first, everything seems normal. And then someone cleans the lenses, and suddenly the colors seem brighter. The edges are sharper. But nothing about the world has changed. The only thing that changed was the way that you were seeing it. I think clarity works like that. Life has a way of leaving fingerprints on the lenses, the responsibilities, the stress, disappointments, success, unexpected opportunities. None of them were necessarily bad, but over time, they slowly clouded the way we see what matters. The problem isn't that we lose our direction. The problem is that we slowly stop seeing it clearly. That's why clarity isn't a breakthrough, it's maintenance. It's the quiet habit of cleaning the lens before beginning another day. Because an intentional life isn't built by one extraordinary moment of insight. It's built by faithfully returning to what matters again and again. One of the biggest misconceptions about clarity is that once you find it, you never lose it. But that's not how life works. Think about cleaning a window. You don't clean it once and assume that it will stay spotless forever. Dust settles, rain falls, life leaves its marks. So you clean it again. Not because something is wrong, but because maintenance is part of ownership. The same is true of your mind. You can be perfectly clear about your priorities today, and 6 months from now, realize that they have somehow quietly drifted. And it's not because you failed. It's because life changed. New responsibilities appeared. New opportunities emerged. Some seasons ended. Others began. And that's why clarity isn't a destination. It's a relationship. A relationship with your values, your priorities, your purpose. And like every healthy relationship, it grows through regular attention. I've noticed that the people who seem the most grounded don't necessarily spend more time making decisions. They spend more time reflecting. They create moments where they step back from the noise long enough to ask, am I still moving in the direction that I chose? That question is powerful because drifting is rarely dramatic. It happens one unnoticed compromise at a time. One postponed priority, one unnecessary commitment, one week without reflection. Eventually, you wake up feeling busy, but disconnected from the life that you intended to build. That's why reflection matters. Not because the past can be changed, but because tomorrow can. Reflection is how you clean the lens. It's how you remove the fingerprints that accumulated during the day. The stress, the hurry, the distractions, the emotional reactions. You don't pretend they never happened. You simply refuse to let them determine what tomorrow will look like. Every moment of honest reflection brings your life back into focus. Not perfectly, just clearly enough to take the next faithful step. And there's something else I've learned about clarity. It doesn't disappear because life becomes difficult. It disappears because we stop paying attention. We assume that yesterday's clarity will automatically guide today's decisions. Sometimes it does. Often it doesn't, because every day asks new questions. Every season presents new responsibilities. Every stage of life requires fresh attention. That's why intentional people develop rhythms instead of relying on inspiration. They don't wait until life feels chaotic before reflecting. Reflection becomes part of the way that they live. Just like brushing your teeth protects your health before problems appear. Reflection protects your direction before distraction takes over. I found that one honest question at the end of the day is often enough. Not was I productive, but did my decisions today reflect what I said mattered most? And that question has a way of cutting through excuses. Sometimes the answer is yes. If that's the case, you celebrate it. Sometimes the answer is no. If that's the case, you learn from it. Neither answer is a reason for shame. Both are invitations to become more intentional tomorrow. That's one of the reasons that I love the idea of daily reflection. It transforms failure into feedback. Instead of judging yourself, you become curious. What distracted me? What competed for my attention? What deserves a different response tomorrow? And those questions don't weigh you down. They sharpen your vision. Every honest answer wipes another fingerprint from the lens. Every thoughtful reflection makes tomorrow's decisions a little clearer. That's why clarity compounds. Not because you become perfect, but because you become more aware. And awareness, practiced consistently, becomes wisdom. The goal has never been to eliminate every distraction. The goal is to notice distractions sooner and return to what matters more quickly. That's what intentional living looks like. Not never drifting, but returning before the drift becomes your direction. So what does clarity look like in everyday life? It isn't complicated. In fact, it's surprisingly ordinary. Begin your day by remembering what matters. End your day by asking whether you lived accordingly. And that's it. No elaborate system, no endless checklist, just a daily rhythm of intention and reflection. Before the day begins, choose your direction. Before the day ends, review your direction. And those two habits create something remarkable. They keep yesterday's distractions from becoming tomorrow's priorities. I found it helpful to think of reflection as resetting the lens. Every evening you remove a little more dust, a little more hurry, a little more emotional residue from the day. Then you begin tomorrow able to see what mattered all along. That's today's daily focus. Before your day ends, spend 5 quiet minutes asking yourself, did my decisions today reflect what I said mattered most? And if they did, be grateful. If they don't be discouraged. Simply identify one adjustment that you're going to make tomorrow. That's how clarity grows. One honest reflection at a time. One intentional return at a time. As we close this phase, I want you to notice something. We never promised a life without distractions. We never promised perfect focus. We never promised flawless decisions. We promised something much more realistic, a way back, because that's what clarity really gives you. Not perfection, but a reliable return. When life becomes noisy, you return. When priorities drift, you return. When stress clouds your thinking, you return. The lens doesn't stay clean because life stops happening. It stays clear because you keep cleaning it. That's the rhythm of intentional living. Not one life-changing breakthrough, thousands of quiet returns. Each one bringing your life back into focus. Each one reminding you of what deserves your attention. Each one strengthening the person that you're becoming. So tomorrow morning, before the world tells you what should matter, clean the lens. Remember your direction. Choose your priorities. Live your principles. Then, before you go to sleep, look through the lens one more time and ask yourself, did I live today the way I intended to? And that's how clarity becomes more than just an idea. That's how it becomes a way of life. And remember, clarity isn't found once, it's practiced daily. Imagine yourself a year from now. Not because you discovered a secret that no one else knows. Not because life suddenly became easier. But because you practiced one simple habit. You kept returning. When your attention drifted, you returned. When life became noisy, you returned. When stress clouded your thinking, you returned. That's the quiet power of clarity. It isn't something you achieve once and protect forever. It's something that you renew again and again. Think about everything you've built throughout this phase. You found your direction. You cleared away the clutter. You identified your priorities. You learned to make decisions through clear principles. And now you've learned the practice that holds all of it together, daily reflection. Because direction without reflection eventually becomes drift. Priorities without reflection become assumptions. Principles without reflection become forgotten intentions. Reflection keeps everything alive. It reminds you not only where you're going, but why you chose that direction in the first place. And that's why I believe intentional living isn't about extraordinary discipline. It's about faithful rhythms, small habits that quietly bring you back to yourself, back to your values, back to what matters most. That's a life almost anyone can build. Not perfectly, but consistently. So tomorrow morning, before the world begins asking for your attention, take a moment to clean the lens. Remember your direction. And tomorrow evening, look back with honesty, not to judge yourself, but to learn, to adjust, to begin again with greater clarity. Because every day gives you another opportunity to see your life a little more clearly than you did the day before. And then over time, those ordinary moments of reflection become extraordinary transformation. Not because you chased clarity, because you faithfully return to it. Today's daily focus, before your day ends, ask yourself one simple question. Did my decisions today reflect what I said mattered most? Celebrate what aligned. Adjust what didn't. Then begin tomorrow with a clearer lens in a clearer direction. Then begin tomorrow with a cleaner lens in a clearer direction. And here's a memorable principle. Clarity isn't found once. It's practiced daily.